lately I have fallen down the mental rabbit hole of graphic jumpers. A better explanation is some sample images of what I'm talking about here. Here. Once I taught myself this technique, I got really excited because basically it meant that I could put anything I wanted onto my own jumpers, and that is what I started doing. All you need to know to make these is a basic single crochet for the image piece, and then it's completely up to you if you do single crochet or a half double crochet for the other pieces, for the sleeve and the back. And then you also just need to know how to slip stitch and single crochet to do the ribbing. And this is my favorite kind of ribbing because it looks like it's knitted ribbing. With the tapestry crochet? I don't actually know the technical terms for these things. I just like learn it and do it. So I'm pretty sure it's tapestry. I'm pretty sure it's tapestry crochet. And so with that, it looks very terrifying, and once you get a hang of it, it's not. It's like with anything really. The way I approach my garment making is the same as the way I approach my art making, and that is, as they used to say, YOLO. So I just roll with it, and if a problem comes up, work around it, fix it, don't stress. So a lot of my jumpers, they're not stitch by stitch perfect, and that's okay. So long as they fit the person and the person loves it, right? If you're a non-perfectionist like me, you found the right pattern for you. If you are a perfectionist, you could probably make this into a pattern and write it down and then repeat it over and over again. But the old noggin here has got the pattern in there, and that's how I do it every single time. It works. Guesstimates. Come with me as I take you on a journey of creating a jumper for my 5-year-old client who is incredibly fiery and she knows what she wants. I'm gonna go now, so let's make a jumper. In order to start off this project, my client gave me a pretty specific design brief. Lipstick, pink, jewellery, crown, bows, pretty. And to kick off the design, I jumped straight onto Canva. You can search for the key elements you're after, and I ended up finding a bunch of them in the graphics section. Then I just spent some time playing around with the layout and the design elements until I was happy with it. Once she approved that initial design, I then saved the image and jumped over to my other favourite program, Procreate. Now here I basically recolored and redrew the elements and focused on creating a simple composition and a simple design. That way it would translate much better as a crochet graphic. I tried to get the crown in the design but decided it would be too finicky when I was crocheting, so I got rid of that. I also kind of played around with adding her name to the lipstick, which also you'll see didn't quite translate as well as I'd hoped to the final pattern. And that's what I mean when I say it's really important to make sure your design is simple. Really, really simple. Once my client was happy with this final design, I then went to stitchfiddle.com. This is where you upload an image and it turns it into a stitch-by-stitch chart for you to follow. I went through and altered the coloured squares to help simplify the design even more and fix the shape of the beads and the lipstick. Now, you would think that would be the final planning done, but no. I then switched back over to Procreate to make a final mock-up to show my client. This included the colours, the style of the garment and the placement of the graphic. And it's just a nice way to bring the plan all together. Once this mock-up was complete, it is time to head into my wool stash or my yarn stash, depending on where you live, and find the colours that match the design. And these are the three main colours that I've picked out. So now it's time to get crocheting. I've used a normal standard 8 sized crochet hook, and we will begin creating the front part of the jumper with the image on it. So firstly, I chain a chain that is a little bit wider than the person you're making this for. This is going to be the very bottom of your jumper, and you kind of work your way up to the top. So firstly, you chain 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, however many you need. I'm not sure how many you used for this for Violet. I think it was about 52 maybe. But I always measure it against the person and check, which is a benefit of having the person you're making it for live with you. So once you reach the end of that chain, you chain 1 and you turn it. Turn your work. And my chart has a few rows of this hot pink, so I'm going to go ahead and crochet those in now. Alright, so following my chart, it looks like I'm about to get up to the first colour change. So this is going to begin the image. The key is to stop right before the stitch. Bring your pink to the front and drop it. Remember to leave 2 loops on your hook. So now I'm going to grab the new colour, which for me is the purple. Coming from the front, because that is the wrong side, grab it, pull it through. Alright? And I also sometimes work over the stitch just to help tighten it a little bit and keep it secure. So I am working in 3 purple stitches according to my chart, and then I'm going to change it back to the pink. So you drop your purple at the front, grab your pink, this is floating it over and through your loops. and continue on with your single crochet as your chart says. So obviously for me this is pink. The key is to choose which side will be your good side and which will be your bad side, or the one with all the dangly strings to tie off. So once you get to the very end of that row, you chain one and you turn your work, and then continue on following your chart back the other way. I'm about to change color again, so now I will cut the purple and leave a really long tail, and this is to help bring it over to the other side to work with. This time I will drop my wool or yarn at the back, so that's to keep the right side and the bad side consistent, and attach it like I showed you before. 2 loops, bring through with the purple. Now, according to my chart, I need to stitch 1, 2, coming back over to the pink. So I only needed 2 purple stitches for that part. And then I'm going along with the pink again, trying to kind of hide that little tail bit a bit as well, so it keeps it nice and safe. Now, I'm changing to another color. Let's get a bit fancy. Same thing, leave 2 loops, bring that color through. I'm working the white according to the chart. So I only needed 1. So 1 white stitch, that must be the highlight that I put in there, and I'm back to the pink. Keep checking your chart, counting your stitches, making sure you're following, otherwise your image will come out looking real weird. Alright, so now I'm going to float the purple from that side over to where I need it now. And I only do this when it's not a big long kind of jump. And the key there when floating is to keep your wool loose so it doesn't pull tight and pucker up your work. So once you've got the hang of the color changing, where to drop your wool, how to float, you know, which stitches you need to stop at before you change your colors, you can work up your image slowly and carefully. The back of your work will get messy, and that's okay. We'll fix it later. So follow your chart, count your stitches, make sure it matches, and you'll have your image. I'll be back when I finished that. I'm just doing my final few rows of pink just to square off the image, and here she is finished. It is a impression, let's call it, of lipstick and a necklace. Like I said, keep it simple, otherwise the image can get lost quite easily. So if you flip it over, you can see the back, and it is quite ugly at the minute. So one of the jobs soon will be to clean this up, and I'll show you how to do that as well. It's okay that it looks like this right now. We're fine. Totally fine. Okay, so now I need to kind of work the neck line out. So I'm going to crochet, I don't know, I counted this, and then leave a gap for the neck. So it's kind of like making the shoulder seams, I suppose. If you were sewing clothes together, it'd be a shoulder seam. So I've just kind of done a couple of rows of decreasing stitches to kind of give it an angle, as you can see. Look at that. So it's a hint of a neckline, and this looks weird at the minute, but once you do the ribbing, it all comes together. I like to keep my clothing simple, but mainly because I need to do it with my brain, and my brain is a little bit silly sometimes. Alright, so now it's time to clean up the back. And you can see where I've done like some big giant jumps of floating and whatever. So normally I just come through and cut them straight through the half. You can choose to use a needle or your teeny tiny crochet hook. So I think I show you both ways. So I'm gonna just trim the big long dangly jumps. And then I go through and I kind of tie them off with something that's close by, or I kind of like give them a little tie there and then just thread them through as best I can the like corresponding color, so it's not easy to see through on the other side, because you don't want to see your ends. No, that's ugly. Okay, so if you can see there's two that are quite close to each other, so I'm tying them off, doing a double knot, and then anyone that's kind of like in a single spot, I do a little knot, and then I, thread it through the needle and hide it. I'm just going to stop talking now. You can observe. So I'm switching over to the crochet hook because sometimes I use this. I don't know why, I just do. I like it because it's teeny tiny. And I just kind of like weave things under and over and round and whatever I can, just to kind of make it nice and secure. There is no method to this madness. Just don't let it be seen on the other side. The teeny tiny floats I've left because that's okay, nothing's going to get caught really in them, but yeah, I've tied everything off and threaded everything through, and you can't really see anything on the other side, which is the aim, and that's good. What's next? Actually, I think we need to make the back. I'm just grabbing my hot pink again because that's my base color at the minute, and I'm going to chain the exact same amount as I did for the first square piece. This part is actually quite simple, so you're basically just crocheting a big square to match the other one. So, but this time I'm going to use half double crochet as the stitch, and then that's only because, I don't know, I like it. I don't know why. So just checking that it matches the original front piece, and once that's all good, you just crochet away until it matches. Is that a dog snore? Yes? Okay, wonderful. And I'm just, checking, always checking. And now I've got to do the same little angled shoulder piece for the back, so that it matches. Right, so the next job is to block the front and back pieces. I've just got some random styrofoam from something that got delivered to my studio, and I'm going to put that down and pin my front piece. Oh, visitor.
No, good room. We're cooking.
Anyways, so I'm just going to lay the image flat, carefully pin and stretch a little bit, and this is what it kind of looks like. And then I put my iron on really, really, really low, otherwise you'll melt your wool if it's acrylic, and just gave it a little bit of a steamy press situation, and then let it sit overnight. This is what it looks like. Woohoo! So now we're back. We're back to join the front and the back pieces together. Your construction is completely up to you. You can use a sewing needle or you can use a crochet hook, whatever you prefer. I think I just crocheted it with slip stitches. So do the same on the other side. And then your shoulders are joined. Beautiful. All right, obviously pick the same matching thread so it hides all your stitches. Rookie error if you don't do that. So now I'm going to start sewing up the side and leaving a space for where I'm going to attach the sleeve. So I just kind of roughly marked where I wanted it with that hook. So she's sewn up and there's the little hole for the sleeve. So I'm going to work my sleeve in the round. Ooh la la. So that's just, I'm attaching it straight onto the thing and going round and round and round and round. You can also probably crochet a rectangle. I'm just going to not say anything about that because you might get confused. But anyways, so you start off and you're basically working half double crochets for this as well. And I'm changing colors because I'm doing a collar blocked situation. Work all the way around. Once you reach the end, I'm always counting my stitches just to make sure that the next round is the same. Keep a track of those. So once you get back to the first few stitches, I just slip stitch it on to the first stitch, chain one, and I'm pretty sure I turn my work. Yeah, see, I'm counting again. That's so I know for the next sleeve what to do so it matches. There is a method to this madness sometimes. Alright, and then you just keep going round and around and around and around. Great, yeah, see, look, pretty. I've done one in the hot pink as well, and I've slowly kind of gently did a little bit of a decrease just to bring the sleeve in a little bit, and that was purely at random. There is no method to that, just where I felt like it needed to go. Next up, we are doing the crochet ribbing, and this is the most satisfying part. It kind of brings it all together, but it really freaking hurts your hands because it's so tiny and time consuming. Should I be telling you how to do this? Probably. However, it's a bunch of slip stitches and single crochets. This is not a beginner tutorial, obviously, because I don't tell you step by step how to do things. I just kind of show you what I'm doing. You chain however many you want for it to make it the width you want. So I think for the, I must be working on the waistband here, and the waistband should be about 10. Work a row of slip stitches and then you work a row of single crochet back down. This bit's the hardest because you're trying to find that slip stitch you did. Make sure it goes in properly. I've got to use my fingernails that I don't have to like kind of shove it in. So make sure you're doing it kind of loosely. Don't do it too tight or it's going to be a pain in the butt. Alright, so once you've reached the final stitch back on the jumper, I do a little bit of a sneaky grab one, grab a second, pull them through. Ooh, that cinches it in a little bit. Nice. Okay, and then you work it, and I do that all the way around. So that brings your waistband in and it makes it feel kind of nice and tight. It's not loose. So I've done the same on the sleeve. Ooh, look at that, so pretty. And again, the other sleeve has a nice purple one. And then I will show you the neckband. I don't know why I'm singing. That's the waistband, I'm still working on that. Shh, it's fine, it's a process.